Hello and welcome to another conversation. My name is Janet Taylor. I'm a life organizer and I am here with Connie Mackey of Silver Haired Wisdom, and we are talking about being still but still moving. And of course, before we get into this conversation, I want Connie to make sure she shares about Silver Haired Wisdom.
Now, I'm sure by now all of you have signed up on my website. You've gone to check it out. This is fabulous because I am creating a community for women that feel that they just don't fit into their own skin, into who they are in their own life anymore. And that this community is all about trusting that wisdom that is within each and every one of us. So, thank you.
So, Connie, is still and moving. Why being still doesn't necessarily mean doing nothing. It's just part of the whole, sometimes the organizing process, because sometimes you need to just, and I tell people that when they see these projects, sometimes you just got to pause before you
Mm.
dig in.
Mm, I tell you, the pause is so important because there is so much wisdom in the pause. The pause is when you remove the voices,
Mm-hmm.
and you really listen to what is being told to you. You've got to just stop. At least for me, I can
Mm-hmm.
only speak from experience. My pause was getting out in nature, was going for that walk, was just not having anything here and figuring out what I was going to do in the next chapter of my life. That was my pause. But the great thing, especially about not having a television,
Mm.
man, oh my gosh, I didn't have that programming coming at me all the time. It wasn't a distraction. When you pause, you can't get distracted. You are in it. And sometimes people are afraid to be in it, Janet. They
Yeah.
they just don't want to slow down. It's they're too afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
talk about clarity in that pause.
Yeah. And
That's huge.
and it is, and it's interesting because sometimes I share with people I have a do nothing day, and they don't understand it. I'm like, well, it's easy for me, because I don't have children, pet, a partner. I says, so I do that because I need that almost just like to give myself a boost of energy for
Yeah.
whatever I hate going forward. So you're
Yeah.
right. So how do you find peace when your routines and structure are kind of stripped away? And I ask you that question because at one point, you couldn't really see because you were dealing with some eye issues, but
Hmm.
also you were just navigating, trying to move from one state to the next because you were doing that cross country move. So, how do you find that peace?
God, it was hard. It was really, really hard to find the peace. I went for a lot of walks. And it was during a time where I could get outside and walk, and it wasn't raining too bad. So and like I had mentioned, not having the television as a distraction,
Mm,
being very
mm,
intentional about the podcasts that I listen to, the motivational things that I listen to. That's where I found my peace. In addition to journaling, what else did I have to do?
mm,
I journaled my thoughts and what I wanted for my life, and it gave me an opportunity to dream again.
mm,
Do you know how long it's been since I have dreamed about my life? Sometimes we just keep going and going and going and going all the time, that we're just constantly on the hamster wheel, just going, and we never just stop and really look at what do we want for the next chapter in our lives? What can we
mm. Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
And that peace brought that to me. I
Mm,
was able to get to that imagination like
hmm.
when I was a child, and being able to imagine how I wanted my life to be.
Mm.
It is just, it was wonderful. So,
Mm, mm.
look, and are we going to talk about once I finally did get my furniture?
Well, see, that's my next thing is when did you realize, when did you accept help as well as some organizing help when, sometimes that supports sometimes our own vulnerability because sometimes, like you said, we want to be strong women. We don't want to ask for help. But then there's a point where we got to say, you know what? Okay, I need help.
Janet, you know as well as I do, I got a hard head. My head is so hard. I am so stubborn. And I just refuse to ask for help. Just a strong woman.
Hmm.
That's what we're
Hmm.
supposed to be. I don't
Hmm.
want to appear weak.
Yeah.
And God bless you.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember just sharing with you my frustration and having my stuff here and like things were just all over everywhere and I didn't know what I was going to do and I don't have the space and I can't fit all everything that I want in here and oh my god, the frustration was just, it was too much. And Janet, I never asked for help, and you knew, you took me and you said, look, Connie, we are going to have a FaceTime meeting and we're
Yeah.
going to do it on Saturday. We're going to
Hmm.
walk through your space and I'm going to give you suggestions, take pictures of everything, and then I'm just going to do it. And girl, that's what you had to do with me because I was not going to ask for help. I wasn't. And I cannot be more grateful to you for doing that. And even though I ran through my little 600 square foot place, from hither to thither, and it was like the Blair Witch Project. You stopped me. The tips that you gave me were fantastic. And there, when you gave me those tips, you talk about the peace that came
Hmm.
over me because I was able to implement those things. Because understand, I'm up here,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
big picture, and my big
Hmm.
picture says,
Hmm.
ain't none of this stuff gonna fit.
Hmm.
And I'm pissed. Why did I even get this place? It's not gonna work. Girl, girl, I'm telling you, I am so grateful to you and the skill set that you have in bringing all of this together for me. And that in itself just elevated the
Hmm.
peace and contentment because I was able to find a place for everything and it all fit and it was all intentional. It was
Hmm.
beautiful. Just beautiful. Just
Well,
great.
it was
I
my
don't know why
pleasure.
more people aren't using you. I really, really don't.
Well,
Look.
thank you, Connie. I mean, it was, and I was sharing with somebody else, and I said, "Yeah, Connie showed up at least 5, 10 minutes before I scheduled time." I was like, "Okay, all right." But that helped you because, and that's sometimes, like in the community you created, you see a need,
Yeah.
and sometimes people don't just want to like raise the hand or ask for help. And then the help and the solution. And you're
Yes.
like, look, this is how you can do this. This how, because we've all done it, whether we've done it with family, friends, children, godchildren. It's like,
Yes.
look, this is the way. And I think, communities like that are very, very important.
Exactly.
So, it's really more or less like organizing is more like a tool for emotional grounding than sometimes just
Yeah.
for the productivity part of it because you're
Mm.
like you said, you felt that that release. It's like because I saw the space and you had all the stuff around, and I know you like structure, but you were also running a business. You were getting used to just being in that environment and then being
Yes.
with all your stuff because for I mean, how long were you without stuff?
Ooh. Almost 60 days, maybe?
Yeah, so
Almost
that's
90
yeah.
days?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can get kind of used to the space and to
That's right, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
nothing in it. Yeah, yeah. Oh.
So I
But
guess what was something that you learned maybe from not having this stuff? You didn't have your utensils and you didn't have this, that, and the other, and you just had all of that space. Like, what did you learn that now you kind of incorporate moving forward?
girl, that I don't need it. that if I had to do with less, that I could do it. I could absolutely make it work. And that in itself was such a huge revelation for me because I've always had more than enough. My mother trained me that you got to have,
Yes,
enough pots and pans and plenty of glasses and dishes for just in case somebody drops by. So I had an overabundance of the utensils, the cooking utensils and towels, sheets,
Lord.
just stuff. And it was just me. It's just me. So, yeah, I learned really, really well that I could get away with one pan, one little small pan, and cook what I need to cook. Now, do I want to? No, but I could if I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, living with less, it really is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how sometimes, people think, well, I don't have much, and they think they're poor.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just not true. It is
Mm-hmm.
not true because there is so much peace, so much joy, so much success
Mm-hmm.
in less. There
Mm-hmm.
is success in less.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm. Mm.
that's what I learned.
Mm.
That's what I learned.
You dropping so many nuggets.
You
Success
know it, girl.
and
Yes.
less. Mm. Mm.
Yes, there
Wow. Yeah.
is.
Mm. Mm.
Again, that's society telling us that we need to have more, 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 more. And
Mm.
it's not true. It
Mm-hmm.
isn't true. And I'm
Yeah.
living proof of it. I
Yeah.
am.
And I think
So,
that's part of your the mission behind your silver-haired wisdom is like,
yes,
hey, this is life. And when you really want to enjoy life like you do, you want to go outdoors, you want to have time with family and friends, you don't need all that stuff weighing you down because I tell people,
yes,
your first of all, your housework will be reduced by 40% when you get rid of stuff. That's a
definitely.
that's enough in and of itself
Huge.
to motivate you. Um, but also it just allows you just to really be more present
Definitely.
because you're
Most
not worrying
definitely.
about all the stuff
Yes.
that you've accumulated over years. And,
And you're not worried about somebody coming and stealing it.
that's the truth.
You,
That is
you
so
know,
true.
and that's what people want. Oh no, you can't come and take my stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, no, no, no,
that's true.
no.
That
What?
is so true. That is so true. That is so
What?
true.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
So, yeah. So,
Worries are gone. Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
still and moving and
Yeah,
letting it go. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Well, of course, I've enjoyed another conversation with you, Connie. And once
Indeed,
again,
indeed.
please reach out to us and join Connie's community if you haven't already done so. And if you have, then let somebody else in your community know about silver haired wisdom. Well,
Thank
of course, continue to use your list, your comments, your questions, and of course, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day. And of course, until next time, take care.